Hi, welcome to the channel. Today is the third day of the first chapter, that is Renaissance. Let's start. Three lessons of micro entrepreneurship. Lesson 1, Convergence. As we will examine it, convergence represents the intersection between something you especially like to do or good at doing, preferably both, and what other people are also interested in. The easiest way to understand convergence is to think of it as the overlapping space between what you care about and what other people are willing to spend money on. Consider these circles. Not everything that you are passionate about or skilled is an interesting to the rest of the world, and not everything is marketable. I can be very passionate about is eating pizza, but no one is going to pay me to do it. Likewise, any individual person won't be able to provide a solution to every problem or be interesting to everyone. But in the overlap between the two circles, where passion or skills meets usefulness, a micro business built on freedom and value can thrive. Lesson 2, Skill Transformation. Many of the projects we will examine were started by people with related skills, not necessarily the skill most used in the project. For example, teachers are usually good at more than just teaching. They are also good at things such as communication, adaptability, crowd control, lesson planning, and coordinating among different interest groups, children, parents, administrators, colleagues. Teaching is a noble career on its own, but these skills can also be put to good use in building a business. The easiest way to understand a skill transformation is to realize that you are probably good at more than one thing. Originally from German, Kate Elder was waitressing in London when someone said to her, "You know, you would be really good at PR." Kate didn't know anything about PR. She wasn't even sure it stood for public relations. But she knew she was a good waitress, always getting good tips and making her customers happy by recommending items from the menu that she was sure they would like. After she was let go from another temporary job at the BBC, she thought back on the conversation. She still didn't know much about the PR industry, but she landed her first client within a month and figured it out. 4 year, 4 years later, her firm employs 5 people and operates in London, Berlin, New York, and China. Kate was a great waitress and learned to apply similar people skills to publicizing her clients, creating a business that was more profitable, sustainable, and fun than working for someone else and endlessly operating the list of daily specials. Contrary to conventional wisdom, success in entrepreneurship isn't necessarily related to being the best at any particular activity. Scott Adams, the creator of the Dilbert comic series, explains his success this way. I succeeded as a cartoonist with negligible art talent. some basic writing skills, an ordinary sense of humor, and a bit of experience in the business world. The Dilbert comic is a combination of all four skills. The world has plenty of better artists, smarter writers, funnier humorists, and more experienced business people. The rare part is that each of those modest skills is collected in one person. That's how value is created. To succeed in a business project, especially one you are excited about, it helps to think carefully about all the skills you have that could be helpful to others and particularly about the combination of those skills. Lesson 3, the magic formula. Bringing the first two ideas together, here is the not too secret recipe for micro business alchemy. Passion or skills plus usefulness is equal to success. Throughout the book, we will examine case studies by referring to this formula. Jaden here forged a career as the host of Steamy Kitchen, a cooking show and website featuring Asian cuisine. From an initial investment of $200, cookbooks, TV offers, and corporate sponsorship have all come her way due to the merging of passion and usefulness. The recipes Jaden shares with a large community on a daily basis are easy, healthy, and very popular. When I met her at an event she was hosting in Austin, and I could barely get through the throngs of admirers to say hi. Read more Jaden's story in chapter 2. Elsewhere, Baron Pierce was a piano teacher struggling to keep up with the administrative side of his work. A programming hobbyist, he created software to help track his students' scheduling and payment. I did the whole project with no intention of making it into a business, he said, but then other teachers started showing interest, and I thought maybe I could make a few extra bucks with it. The few extra bucks turned into a full time income and more with current income in excess of $30,000 a month. A native of Utah, Brandon now lives with his family at their second home in Costa Rica when they aren't exploring the rest of the world. Read more about Brandon's story in chapter 4. The road ahead. We will learn. In the quest for freedom, we will look at the nuts and bolts of building a micro business through the lens of those who have done it. The basics of starting a business are very simple. You don't need an MBA. Keep the $60,000 tuition, venture capital, or even a detailed plan. You just need a product or service, a group of people willing to pay for it, and a way to get paid. This can be broken down as follows. Number one, product or service, what you sell. Number two, people willing to pay for it, your customers. Number three, a way to get paid, how you will exchange the product or service for money. If you have a group of interested people but nothing to sell, you don't have a business. If you have something to sell but no one willing to buy it, you don't have a business. In both cases, without a clear and easy way for customers to pay for what you offer, you don't have a business. Put the three together and congratulations, you are now an entrepreneur. These are the bare bones of any project. There's no need to overcomplicate things, but to look at it more closely, it helps to have an offer, a combination of product or service plus the messaging that makes a case to potential buyers. The initial work can be a challenge, but after that typical business gets going, you can usually take a number of steps to ramp up sales and income if you want to. It helps to have a strategy of building interest and attracting attention, described here as hustling, instead of just popping up one day with an offer. It has to craft a launch event to get buyers excited ahead of time. We will look at each of these concepts in precise detail down to dollars and cents figures from those who have gone before. The goal is to explain what people have done that works and closely examine how it can be replicated elsewhere. The lessons and case studies illustrate a business creation method that has worked many times over. Build something that people want and give it to them. There's no fail proof method. In fact, failure is often the best teacher. Along the way, we will meet an artist whose studio collapsed underneath him as he stood on the roof, frantically shoveling snow. We will see how an adventure travel provider recovered after hearing that the South Pacific island they were taking guests to the next morning was no longer receiving visitors. Sometimes the challenge comes from too much business instead of too little. In Chicago, we will see what happens when a business struggles under the weight of an unexpected 2,000 new customers in a single day. We will study how these and other brave entrepreneurs forged ahead and kept going, turning potential disasters into long term success. The constant themes in our study are freedom and value, but the undercurrent to both is the same of change. Both is the theme of change. From his home base in Seattle, James Craig used to build and manage computer data centers around the country, but in an act of conviction that took less than 6 months from idea to execution, he packed up a 2006 Mustang and left Seattle for South Carolina on a mission to start an authentic coffee shop in the land of biscuits and iced tea. Once he made the decision, he says all other options were closed. There was one moment very early on when I realized this is what I want to do, and this is what I am going to do. And that was that decision made. I'll figure the rest out. As we will see, James later got serious about making a real plan, but the more important step was the decision to proceed. Ready or not, he was heading for a major change, and it couldn't come soon enough. A few short months later, Jamestown Coffees opened for business in Lansing, South South Carolina. James and his new staff had worked 10-hour days for several weeks to prepare for the opening. But there it was, a ribbon to be cut, the mayor on the hand to welcome the business to the community, and a line of customers eager to sample the wares. The day had come at last, and there was no looking back. Key points: micro businesses aren't new, they have been around since the beginning of commerce. What's changed, however, is the ability to test, launch, and scale your project quickly and on the cheap. To start a business, you need three things: a product or service, a group of people willing to pay for it, and a way to get paid. Everything else is completely optional. If you are good at one thing, you are probably good at other things too. Many projects begin through a process of a skill transformation in which you apply your knowledge to a related topic. Most important, merge your passion and skill with something that is useful to other people. And today is the end of the first chapter. If you are new on the channel, subscribe the channel and press bell icon so that you will get notification about new video upload. Don't forget to like and share. Thank you so much.